Okay. What do you think, Kevin?
I concur.
Oh. No, I predict that in 2027, the political climate in Michigan is going to be much better.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Stick to the Plan podcast. It's another Monday, and of course, I'm here with Russ. How are we doing today, Russ?
Hi, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm sleepy.
Where'd you watch Super Bowl at?
Half at my grandma's, and then didn't.
You didn't come up to the
I didn't make it up. No.
Turning Point Super Bowl.
I planned to
here at the GOP headquarters.
I planned to, and then after I got home,
we had like 20 people.
Yeah, I walked my dog, and I was like,
good.
I don't want to go back out. I don't want to see people.
Yep. And
Bad Bunny was the best.
Oh, I'm sure. Did you wear a dress?
Yeah, gyrating.
Yeah. I don't know. I left in the middle of the halftime show and went home.
Oh.
No,
We all did that.
I was happy of the turnout with our little Turning Point group. They're trying to grow, and they did good. And Turning Point bought a bunch of pizzas.
Nice.
Luke did, and then AFP jumped on because they jump on to anything that where there's people.
They love.
And they bought
people.
a ton of food. So
Yep.
yeah, that's what they do. So, anyways, it was a good show, and but I went home and went to bed before the game was over.
Yeah, I didn't care about who was playing. I honestly didn't even know who
Game
was
sucked.
playing. It was.
That's what I hear.
By
the way-
year, it gets worse and worse. The commercials suck. The game sucks. The halftime sucks. It's dog shit. Well, it's not American.
So maybe I should introduce our guest today.
Yeah, you should probably introduce it. Who are those disembodied voices in the background?
So our guests today are Shane Trejo
The bad guy.
and
The
Jon
real
Smith.
Republican, Mr. Republican.
And probably anybody listening or watching this stream today knows exactly who Shane Trejo and Jon Smith are.
I would like to say as a disclaimer before starting that my views represent the official views of the Republican Party of Michigan and every division downward from there.
And I was
throughout
going
Michigan.
to
Every county.
Every county and district.
was
my
gonna-
views represent the official views of the Republican
I
Party.
was going to give my disclaimer first.
Yeah, gotta be faster than that.
Well, we've been sitting here laughing for the last 20 minutes.
Well,
now.
and that's my point, John. This is why I wanted to do the show. Of course, I had Chris Long on last week, and it was a fine show. Me and Chris get along great, and
so do I.
we have a lot of the same political viewpoints that we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
But this is my disclaimer. Got to be clear on this. Sometimes I forget, Kevin.
Yeah.
This is not a Jackson GOP podcast. Right. This is a Russ and Kevin podcast. And the views reflected are Russ and Kevin. And yes, it's at the Jackson GOP headquarters.
Because it's
and
cheap.
I promote events with the Jackson GOP because I am the chairman. But this is a Russ and Kevin podcast. And don't let things offend you or think it's speaking for the Jackson GOP.
I hope everybody gets offended.
It's really bad. Some people are
I'd like to give a shout out to John King, my biggest fan.
He's one of them. He's been a fan of yours for a long time.
Yes, he has.
And John's. He's been critical of John over the years. I asked you guys never even.
I don't even know who he is. I don't even know what he looks like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know him if you put 10 guys in the lineup.
Do you think that's his real name?
Oh, it is. I know exactly who he is. I go back. I go back a decade with him.
Oh, interesting enough.
I've helped him with campaigns and stuff.
Interesting enough, there's a Jeff King from Hillsdale that moved over to, I think, what is it? Not over by Grand Rapids, I guess, area or Holland area. And he was a hater. They have the same language. It's so bizarre because I always think it's Jeff King when I see John King.
No, the only one that's got multiple names is Shane.
Interesting.
My aliases.
Whatever they call you,
yes.
like John says. But no, I go back a dozen years or 10 years with John. He's helped with some city campaigns, and I know him well. And he's a frequent flyer at city council meetings, and he usually has pretty valid points calling the city out on their bullshit. He has a hard time communicating, though, at times. One-on-one, he's not a bad communicator, but he does not like you two at all.
Oh, well.
You know, and it doesn't matter.
You can't appease everybody.
What can you do?
Right.
What can you do?
If you want an official Jackson GOP podcast, we do an official Under the Oaks podcast the last Wednesday of every month, and it is official Jackson
I meant to wear my
GOP
hat
podcast.
today. It's down in the car.
It isn't Russ's
I saw you had it
opinion.
on at some event. I saw you on Facebook.
Yeah, I wear it often at political
John,
events.
John, I don't think we're getting invited to that podcast.
Oh,
I don't think we're making it on the Under the Oaks.
I don't know. Maybe we will.
You might. It's designed for.
Depends how lazy he gets. He can usually, if you can't find a guest, they'll pull you in.
I do. Well,
We do need hosts.
host. No, that's not happening.
Why not?
We're not putting you to a charge.
Why not?
There we go.
I could host Jackson's. I can get away with
Well,
it.
you know, if I put that to a vote of the executive committee in Jackson, they might approve that. But I'm the chairman. That will
Listen,
never make
I'm
it
not
to
as
the
bad as
agenda.
Shane. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's gonna gavel that shit down fast.
I'm not as bad as Shane. So
I want to say this is why I was telling the guys before you guys got here. Thank you for being here. Is personally, part of me didn't want to do this show. Like, I don't want to deal with these guys with these issues. But
Radical opinions.
But my gut kept saying, just do it, Russ. And
Right.
this is the reason why when I called John, we're all friends.
Yes.
I have
Personal
been friends with John 5 years, 6 years. I don't
Something
know.
like that.
We've been good friends
Yeah.
for a long time.
when you were wearing diapers,
Shane, you and I have known each other a few years,
still
and I
does.
consider us friends. We're friends.
Absolutely.
And I want to paint a picture that
we're friends with Kevin too. Why
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta
Why
not
would-
include him?
And the
It's
only
not
reason
that
I
it
have
has certain
bullshit.
gentlemen's establishments of
Not anymore.
the only reason I like Kevin is he's my
I'm not there
oldest son.
oh,
Yeah.
You know, so
And
other
I
than that.
barely like him as a dad. So
But listen, you're not going to probably convince me of anything different today, and I'm not going to convince you guys of anything different today. But we can talk about these issues, and
Russ, we're here to deprogram you.
I know, and have some fun. And we're going to walk out of here. We're all still going to be friends.
Yes.
We're all still going to be
It's
friends.
called dissent, and is there room for dissent? Is there room for a discussion? I believe so.
And
Just not a state committee.
one more disclaimer, and then we can just go haywire from there. I personally endorse Mike Rogers for U.S. Senate. It's that $900. But no, I personally do. Let's clear that up right now, because I guarantee you the whole campaign is watching, thinking that Russ bumped his head and is rejoining the grand new party.
We'll wait till after the campaign to announce that.
all right.
Well, after Mike Rogers loses, we're all going to come back to Kumbaya, so it doesn't matter.
After he loses, the grand new party will be there, and we'll have a red carpet rolled out for all the people who were wrong about the entire campaign.
So do you guys think, and I almost don't put you two in the same category, especially Shane, but there's another person that's pretty critical of the Mike Rogers campaign. And sometimes I think they paint a picture of protecting themselves in case there is loss. Are you guys doing that? Or do you really in your gut feel that Mike Rogers is going to
I'm glad
lose
you actually
against
started
the
with this
Democrat?
question, because Kevin and I were talking about this before you guys were not in the room. Maybe when Shane walked in, but when is it appropriate to fire your politician?
Well, probably before you elect them.
Well, this is the thing, Russ. I mean, yes, there are votes you could come back from. I'm assuming even like detrimental votes. Look at Joe Bellino is a good example.
Yeah.
Voted for Elliot Larson. You can't come back from that, right?
And
How can you come back from that, right? And he has.
Scratched away at doing so, but
How did he do that?
he's a great example.
How did he come back from that, Russ? In
He
your
just
opinion?
started voting correctly.
Well, not only just voting correctly, he's humble, right?
Now he has Joe come right out and said, I apologize for voting for expansion of Elliot Larson's
He's done
rights.
he's done a thing called my bad.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is not only did he do a my bad, is the people that are most vocal against Joe, he's been humble enough to say, come on, he brings them into the fray. He brings them on, or he'll have dinner with them, or he'll have a conversation with them. He's not closed off from that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Mike Rogers ain't doing that, because I don't really know Mike's campaign. But when is it appropriate to fire a politician? When should he be fired? So obviously, Mike,
He's not hired yet.
well, he was hired,
Okay.
right? And
So the consideration here is to rehire him.
correct.
Okay.
And that's the
And
question.
run again after he lost in a more favorable cycle just 2 years ago.
Yeah. So, this isn't a beat up on Mike Rogers' show today. The question is when is it appropriate to fire your politician or not elect your politician? And are there things that they can do that are so detrimental that they can't come back from? And Patriot Act is pretty hardcore.
And NSA spying and war in Iraq and
so
on and so
Shane,
forth.
it might not have been his intention, but regardless, if your intention is not to kill someone and you do, you're punished for it. And that's how I look at Mike Rogers. I think Mike Rogers has been trying to do the my bad thing, even though without publicly saying my bad. And I think it's going to go far in our party. But how is it?
Yeah, it would be really easy to come out and say, even disingenuously say, well, Biden and Obama used the Patriot Act in ways, and NSA spying in ways, FISA courts in ways that I never imagined when I signed on to these things. So we need to undo those things, or we need to have reforms. It's gotten out of control.
Yeah, reform.
I haven't heard anything like from
once I get in there, I'm going to reform this. We haven't heard
either one
like
of you think when Mike Rogers is reelected, if the his old approach, he's going to still continue that old approach? Are you confident that that's what he's going to do, make bad decisions like the Patriot Act or anything like that?
I think he'll
or do you think he's changed because Trump has him in his pocket? There's a reason why Trump wants him.
There's a degree of disingenuous from whether it be Matt Hall or whether it be from
look at Matt Hall.
Like
he's a different speaker now than he was when he was a minority.
If Mike Rogers was 10 steps away from us, he might be 8 steps away, getting in. I mean, look, Mike's an egomaniac too, just like myself, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a man,
as most people in politics are.
So
John and I talked about this quite in length on the phone a week
ago. Ego, this all feeds our ego, and Mike's no different, probably worse than us. He's got more money, he's got more power. Shane and I have no authority. So, and then people be like, well, why are you guys talking about? Well, because we're voters. And we're
you say that, but you both
exercising our First Amendment.
You guys both have been in positions,
party politics,
that people within these spheres highly overestimate in terms of their influence.
Correct.
Now, Shane, you said it on Jeremy's podcast, and it really rang. It made sense to me, or I questioned myself. And John and I talked about this. And it's once you get in a so-called position of authority,
yes,
whether it's a county chair, a district chair,
perceived
an
power,
elected positions, whatever, it goes to your head. And I'm like, okay, Russ, are you in that position or not? Yes, I am. Yes, I'm not. Okay.
But we get it. I mean, like you come to this facility in Jackson. It's great. It's wonderful. You do a lot of great things with it, but it costs money. You have to fundraise to have a facility this nice. And if you're not, amenable to different groups that, we could criticize, for this and that, the Rogers campaign,
AFP,
other campaigns, AFP, another one, they'll dole out the money. But if you look at some of the things that they do, some of them are not America First. But you have to play ball with these groups. And when I was the 11th district chair, did I go out and try to alienate these different groups? Never. I was lucky enough that there wasn't a Mike Rogers type candidate on the ballot that year. None of them were really, in my opinion, crossed that line into bad. So I was fortunate because it would have been a tough decision to have to deal with something like that if there was a candidate that I felt
you're saying
was not good. I understand it from when I was a district chair.
You had to play that balancing act.
It's a balancing act, yes.
Right. I do think of myself, yes, I am here to elect. I am in that camp. Elect Republicans no matter what in the general. And we can talk about that all day long, whether that's the great approach or not. But you're right, the balancing act here. I'm always after further growth of the Jackson GOP, constantly. So you're right. You want to be connected to the people that can help you grow that party, and you hope it's in the right direction.
Russ, in your school of thought, it's what I put as my number one school of thought: win at all costs. There's nothing wrong with that school of thought. The problem is when you got a lot of bosses and not leaders, they try to shut down dissent, like Shane and myself.
Sure.
Especially
during the primaries.
Not only during the primaries, Shane, but
that's when it should happen, though.
Especially
really.
when we start grabbing traction. That's when they really start fray. The cloth starts becoming fray because they're scrambling. and that becomes a big problem. The thing is we have a large body of dissent in the party, and I've never seen so much lockdown of the party as I have since Karamo. So it's crazy to see how much. I mean, why wouldn't they expect not just Rogers, but look at John James's campaign. This is a good example.
Yeah.
The basement campaign that's winning, he's going to win on name recognition alone in the state of Michigan with 54% or something like that on the polling. And the next guy down is like 20, like Mike Cox or something. The thing is, and like your guy, Tom Leonard, polling like 6% or some shit. And Ralph Rebrandt's polling the same as him. And Ralph's even got more money. And here he is being locked out. The thing is like they're gatekeeping.
Who's they?
I believe it's 8th district. So as a whole. So
they're far from alone. They're just the ones that kind of did it at that event publicly. Didn't
give a shit, right?
And then they're taking the most heat. But there's a lot of people.
But also they play victim to this.
It takes more than just one district to lock out a candidate for governor. I'm
just saying from one of their events.
That lockout is significant to the campaign.
They will create excuses, but we all know. And when I say we all know, Shane knows because he's a district chair. I'm a former district chair, and hell, because you're a county chair, you can accommodate. And that's the thing. They could accommodate. They chose not to.
They did.
And that's because I know that they know that they're gatekeeping. And anything other than that,
I'm proud of
it's all lies.
I'm proud of Jackson. Our Lincoln Day dinner, I invited every single one of them.
Yeah, you got GPS over here. I seen a sign.
They all came except for John James, of course. And then me and Anthony Hudson have had our issues, personal issues on the phone, arguments. And I've still invited him to the next event.
If you want to run the system win at all cost, allow for dissent is all I'm asking, because we have no other authority or way to navigate this.
And let me interject. A lot of people are like, well, someone like Ralph Rebant or Carla Wagner or Anthony Hudson has no practical chance of winning. But when you have a system that's so gamed by the big
that's what
money,
I mean. Yeah,
you're going to have these protest candidates, and you're going to have a portion of the base who is going to rally behind those sort of protest candidates. And when you completely steamroll them and you don't give them a voice, you're not allowing your base of supporters to be heard. And in a particularly, maybe that might work in like Alabama or somewhere where it's solidly red, but the margins are so slim in an area like Michigan, where if you alienate, even if it's 1% to 2% of the vote, that can really come back to haunt you during the general election.
Yeah, look at for example the last Mike Rogers campaign. And Shane, you take a lot of heat from Inside Party, from a libertarian vote, 20,000 votes. By alienating these people, you could have won that seat. So the thing is stop steamrolling. Stop it.
And yeah,
we're not steamrolling you guys.
Well,
these margins, and I believe that if you had put up a candidate, even if it was someone who was not so good, mediocre, you would have had probably enough votes to get him across the finish line. But when you look at a candidate who talked,
who was those choices?
NSA spying, Patriot Act, war in Iraq. And who are the choices? Well, you have a campaign who's working behind the scenes, pulling the right levers, pressing the right buttons to clear the field to make yourself inevitable. That candidate is anointed because they know how to work the process better. That in and of itself is a problem.
But that's politics. I've seen that on a local level where you come out, show strength to scare off primary contenders. Laura Perry is a perfect example of that. And I've never seen a campaign for state rep that have so much enthusiasm behind it.
Sure.
But she came out strong and hard with all that enthusiasm. Part of that is flex muscle to create no contenders in the primary. So what's the difference if it's that level or me at a township level or the Mike Rogers coming out, flexing muscle, scared off Lindsay, right? Got a Trump endorsement. It made Lindsay go away.
Correct.
That's the name of the game.
Hazinga go away. I think
Hazinga.
a lot of it has to do with, though, it's not, a matter of like Laura Perry, very impressive candidate on her merits. scaring people off. That's one thing. But if it's when you're going to pay off the right consultancy, you're going to make the money flow in certain ways.
It's called Shane. It's called gaming the system.
Yes.
Right. The system's been gamed because we've been operating the same system for 50 years. Now, I've been screaming it from Hillsdale for 6 years that we got to reevaluate the system. In my opinion, and I think we need to look at it every 5-10 years, whatever it is, maybe every cycle or every 2 cycles, like a sunset clause, to look back, because the goalposts do continue to change. Kevin talked about this. So not on the show, but before the show, he used to talk about, well, the goalposts are consistently moving. Yeah. So the system needs
to predict where those goalposts are
so the system needs a reform and not a rebellion. Like Shane and I get called rebellion. We're not rebels in the party. We want reform.
I think Shane is.
Yeah, Shane's definitely a rebel.
Look at him.
But the thing is reform is only it equals to the word maintenance. The system needs some maintenance. We need to review the
You don't think it naturally does that on its own?
No.
You said a long time to me ago, John, more than once, that the grassroots has moved to, say, the establishment side, and the establishment has moved to the grassroots.
I would say more so that way.
A lot because of Trump. Establishment had to move to grassroots a little bit. So that's moving the goalposts. That's adjusting to the goalposts.
That's correct.
So it does on its own anyways, to a certain degree.
Opinion of thought is one thing. Changing the system is another. So, and that's what we haven't seen. So we haven't seen change for that. Look at yourself, Russ. Just 2 years ago, you'd be called a rebel rouser just like Shane, but now you're not labeled that. So the thing is we have ideas of thought, and we can go across our party and kind of box everybody in. And yes, those change. The goalposts change for them. But the thing is the system is still the same system that it's been for 50 plus years that I think we need to readjust.
Shane, a question that I have often. I'm going to get you with the gotcha one later, but but you know what? I can't get you guys with gotcha ones very well, but I do have one later. Now you got me on that gotcha question. In my train of thought went away. I took them.
Let's go for the gotcha. Let's go for it.
All right.
Let's get into it.
So do you agree that Congress needs to start supporting the Trump agenda?
Yes, I do. I mean, I would say, personally, if by the Trump agenda you mean let's go to war with Iran, that is now the new Trump agenda. That
let's say the economic
when he was elected.
Let's say the economic agenda.
Yes, I would say yes.
Okay. Don't you think, as I guess we're all Republicans? I don't know. I question you sometimes.
Republicans,
Shane. Shouldn't we?
Ron Paul Republicans.
Shouldn't we, as voters, Republican voters, support the Trump agenda by supporting his endorsements?
Well, Trump. Trump has endorsed Mike Rogers. At one point he endorsed Mitch McConnell. He endorsed Ronna Romney McDaniel. He endorsed. He's endorsed and continues to endorse Lindsey Graham.
What ruined that? Not enough Republicans
and then
supported his agenda.
Well, yeah, but then Mitt Romney.
He endorsed John James, and John James didn't support him.
He supported all these Republicans who had an R next to their name, who didn't necessarily support his agenda. So if you look at his endorsements and people he's put in roles of positions of power in his administrations, it hasn't always been the best choices. So I think,
especially first term, I agree.
Yeah, President Trump has a lot of people in his ear. He came from a business background. He doesn't understand the lay of the land of politics, which is a good thing, I think, in many respects. But when it comes to making these appointees, and making these endorsements, it can be a not so good thing.
Other than being a little frustrated with Pam Bondi,
Kash Patel. Are you serious?
RFK Jr. was a great one. I'll give him that.
His pick for cabinet to me is way better than it was the first pick. Don't you think he's learned and there's not as many people in his ear? You're the president of the United States. There's people in his ear.
The bureaucracy is huge, Ross. I mean, the idea that we should support his endorsement. How about this? I'll give you that if you're willing to come to the table and look at maybe some sort of reform. The thing is we're not getting anything. We're just getting everything shoved down our throat, period, all the time, and just deal with it.
Well, that's the beauty of American politics too. Is you can support a candidate like Trump, the president. You can support his agenda, but you can also pick and choose what parts of it you want to. It's not like you have to be all in or not.
But you get the gotcha portion to that we expect Congress to support the Trump agenda, but then as Republican voters, we don't support the Trump agenda.
I expect Congress to represent me as a constituent and a voter. Just because he endorsed, that's why Congress is there. It's not necessarily to always agree with the president. It's to bring, dissent if needed.
The Trump agenda went from being Doge, which I'm told is still around, but I'm dubious about whether it actually is or not, to now, the Trump agenda is massive, permanent debt and deficit hikes. So talk about goalpost shifting. The goalposts seem to be shifting now, and it seems to be shifting in the direction of the establishment. I think it's because people like Lindsey Graham are in Trump's ear, constantly telling him to do the wrong things. You put in these, for lack of a better term, rhinos. They get in there, they get into Trump's ear. They tell him to do the wrong thing. They know how to manipulate him using flattery. They're the ones who are most obsequiously, have their lips puckered up, kissing Trump's ass nonstop, and they're manipulating him to do bad things. Now we're looking at war with Iran, the Ukraine war that was supposed to end on day one. It hasn't. So you're seeing a lot of things go in the wrong direction. And I think when you put those rhinos
or
up
you
there,
fear that they are.
Yeah,
I disagree with you that. All right, we come from a time where we'd be in endless wars, but I think Trump is starting to prove that if he deals with anything in a military sense, that it won't be an endless war. But you're not confident that's going to be the case.
I think you're definitely that Trump doesn't want to do that. But when let's like Venezuela, he came in and took out Maduro very tactically perfect. But what is the aftermath going to look like? What if this person who's in power now, who's playing ball with Trump? What if the population turns against her? Things don't get better. You got U.S. troops guarding oil fields. What if you start seeing resistance against those people from guerrillas on the ground in Venezuela? Does that eventually bubble up into a larger military conflict? What if you can go in and you can decapitate the regime, but what happens in the aftermath? Is the U.S. going to completely pull out? That's what I would want. But there's going to be some kind of presence, and it can be
also how does Russ? How does Trump's agenda? How does that reflect into local party politics?
I guess at the first thought here is I was involved before Trump was elected.
Because I think every person at this table is voting for Trump and supports Trump.
Right. Well, apparently don't support Trump all the way.
No, I mean,
if he told me to drink Diet Coke, would I? The thing is
okay.
like
I'm with him on the Diet Coke.
Mike Rogers and Diet Coke are two different things.
Yeah, Diet Coke didn't. Well, I guess they were involved in a lot of other bad stuff. But the thing is
I like Diet Coke.
The thing is when do you fire the politician? When do you hold them accountable? How do you hold them accountable in the party if your president's endorsing them? How about that? These are some challenges. I'm not like Shane. I'm not going to blast Rogers too hardcore. But at the end of the day, I think it's a good question to ask, Russ. If you get a Trump endorsement, we need a Republican in there regardless, just off of sheer numbers, don't we?
Yeah.
In theory.
Why was it so important for Lindsey to get the Trump endorsement? If the endorsements don't mean anything.
Well,
nobody claimed that, Russ. You're the one just you put words in our mouth.
They absolutely do mean everything to the person who isn't. A lot of people know the name Mike Rogers, but they don't know anything of his campaign, his stances. So they're going to go off of President Trump endorsed him, so they're going to go off of that blindly.
Sure a lot of people will.
And that's why the endorsement is so important for anybody that's on the inside at all.
I personally am trying to support the Trump agenda. I am a Trump guy. I think it changed politics
Kid Rock
for the better.
John James,
and
you're running.
So now I don't know what to say. I did see that. I don't know what to say if Trump comes out and endorses Perry Johnson or John James in the next month or so. Am I going to bail off Tom Leonard? Probably not at the gate. But I'm not going to download.
Then they'll take you in the back room at establishment headquarters, and then
here comes the hypocrisy.
They'll make you an offer.
But I'm not going to go on every podcast in the state and down his endorsement, because you fight like hell in the primary, and then as Republicans you come together and you support the nominee. Okay, So even if Trump comes out with an endorsement for John James tomorrow, okay, I'm like, well, it's in the bag. It looks like John James has it. And John, you and I talked about it. This John James polling, okay, he's waxing them,
killing it,
and he ain't been anywhere. There's two things going on here. Name recognition,
huge,
and plus, I think his campaign staff are genius compared to all the rest of these campaign staffs. And I apologize to the Tom Leonard campaign staff.
They don't have a choice, Russ. They have. They
didn't run around for 4 or 5 months to every Lincoln Day dinner and event there was. He just stayed in the basement. Now he's slowly rolling out.
That's because he has name recognition because he already lost 2 campaigns. So by being, a multiple-time loser, not being able to get across the finish line, people know who he is. And enough Republicans like him and certain attributes about him that they will get on board and make him the anointed one. And then what will that look like in the general? What will it look like in the general if it's governor candidate Mike Rogers and Senate candidate or governor candidate John James and Senate candidate Mike Rogers?
Oh,
what will that look like?
It might look pretty good. I don't know.
All right, Russ. We'll see.
All right. If they lose, who's to blame?
I hope. No one's to blame. Themselves, I hope.
I'll tell you who's to blame.
Is it they're going to blame John and Shane?
John and Shane, the grassroots libertarians, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. We were all to blame, and that's who it'll be hung on. If the Republicans lose in the midterms, and you're off the hook, Russ. You're off the hook.
All right,
not the guys that put them up, right?
Yeah,
not the guys that are like blasting them, steamrolling them.
John, you and I had a conversation on the phone. That's what I was trying to get at on the John James thing. Okay, I'm pretty confident John James is going to get the Trump endorsement and probably going to get the nominee. No, I don't know about the endorsement, but he's going to be the nominee. He's probably going to be the nominee.
Endorsement before.
Okay, you guys know where I'm at. With some Pepto-Bismol, I will probably help get John James elected in the general, probably more than most people you know.
Listen, we're all going to fill up that damn box.
The
oval circle.
Just get the Pepto ready, get the KY out, and we're voting for John James.
But Russ, for the dissent, why can't Shane and I say we get our ass handed to us in the midterms? Why couldn't Shane and I say, I told you so?
I will say.
Can you do that after the general?
Yes.
Listen, I gave you props. Shane, I gave you props the last Mike Rogers campaign. Prior to the general, you and Adam on Rescue Michigan were just hammering Mike Rogers. Hammering. But you guys kind of went a little bit, in my opinion, silent in the general.
Yeah, we did what they wanted us to do, and still we got the blame for it. And look, I'll take the blame. Look, if you want to say that I'm the guy who's going to destroy every neocon and prevent any neocon from being able to win in the Republican Party, then that's a badge of honor that I'm going to take. Even if it's completely ridiculous, you're making it up. That's something that I'm going to use as a badge of honor and run with. So, but yeah, in the months leading up to the election after the primary. I didn't say anything bad about Mike Rogers. I supported the whole ticket and voted a straight ticket. And still.
Oh, did you?
Still, they completely threw me under the bus about it because they need someone to blame. They had Karamo to blame as the bad guy.
Are you significant?
Karamo was out. Karamo was out of the picture. Now, who's the next scapegoat? Because we can't offer any sort of vision or any sort of compelling reason
and this is why I
grow the grassroots.
That's right.
So we need to find a scapegoat who we can throw under the bus and have our little, clique and say we're the establishment.
And that's why I don't mind saying fuck off to your friends, Russ.
Okay.
Because, they put that bullshit scapegoat shit on us as if we're the ones to blame. We're working just as hard as they are.
I think you guys think that more than what really exists. You like to prepare that you will be the scapegoat or you want to be the scapegoat.
Oh, we're doing that on purpose now, Russ. Absolutely.
Okay, you hooked me up on that one.
It got us on the podcast, so we're getting it's working.
All right, thanks for joining the show today.
It's working wonders.
That's all we got.
We're setting the field right now. We're setting the game board now, Russ.
We're ripping the curtain off because this is what's going on. This is what they're setting up, and it's not just us. You're like, hey, you guys are just two random dudes, but it extends beyond local politics. Like I said earlier. they're doing the same thing at the national level with Tucker Carlson and Candace
There's
Owens.
droves of delegates rush that field.
Are you guys butthurt because they didn't pull you into their team or ask for your advice?
I wanted the John Yob money. I wanted to go to the island next to Epstein's.
Yeah.
I wanted the caviar. I wanted it all. They wouldn't give it to me, so now I'm.
I don't even get offered, Russ. For crying out loud, give me the offer. I can say no.
Well, I've always said it on Epstein's Island. It was a fairly large island. They weren't fucking babies everywhere. So, yeah, I'll jump on my billionaire friend's jet
Kevin and I
go hang.
I was sitting in a bar stool and some guy sitting down Jackson Airport and jump on my private jet and fly down to my private island. I'd be like, giddy up, and I'd have been on the Epstein list. But I don't think the minute you went down there as a guest that you were introduced to having sex with children.
I still think that was an inner circle.
I think there's a lot of people probably that been to Epstein Island.
Cool. You got to be on the super cool list for that.
Yeah.
They're like, we got no leverage here.
They got to take a video of you having sex with a child, and then you would get into the inner side. That way they can use it against you.
Listen, I would have went to a P. Diddy party.
Hell yeah.
I don't think Jeffrey Epstein would have been at any of the bar stools that.
Yeah, right. Well, you never know.
No, I don't think.
Now, P. Diddy parties are different.
I don't think Jeffrey Epstein was scouting at Cracker Jacks for talent.
It's easy pickup.
Kevin, didn't he come in one time?
Yeah, I bought him a drink. Well, you're not going to talk about it. But what I was going to say, Diddy parties were different. Everybody always clumps the Epstein and the Diddy parties together recently. And you got to remember, Diddy had nothing to do with kids. Those were all consensual adults being freaky
Diddy
freaks.
is totally different animals. I think frankly, I think they put a spotlight on Diddy to try to get people's eyes off of Epstein.
Yeah, you might be right.
But yeah, it all started mushing together
It's just about being heathens.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about. They're like, "Oh yeah, Diddy was fucking kids."
Shit.
I'm like, "Well, that's not what he was brought up on, at least charges wise." So heck yeah, I would go to a Diddy party. I'll go to a Diddy party today.
I got a question.
No, there's a large section of state committee that will try to frame a narrative, and whether against Shane or against Granny Party or against myself. Individuals that are bucking the system when all we're calling for is reform. That's all we're calling for. And they like the same system status quo. Find a better candidate or raise more money. And or raise more money.
Why do you have that?
It's about, and it's like killing the messenger, because you look at the especially with Gen Z and with the millennials. You look at the total electorate, and 45% of them are independents. So when you talk about Republican, we need to support the parties, party this, party that. That's like 27% of the population. If you don't get those independent votes, you lose. And when you talk about rallying the troops around bad Republicans and need to support the Republican Party no matter what, independents will say, screw this, I don't want anything to do with that. And when you look at Gen Z and you look at millennials, it's like 55 to 60% of the voting population are independents. And if you don't get those people in wanting to vote for the Republican, but inspiring them with good candidates with a strong message, they will not vote for you. And when you all that, cliquey inner circle, oh, you're not a real Republican, they will laugh in your face and not give a damn about any of that talk.
You ran those numbers down on Jeremy's show.
Yes.
And I thought they were interesting numbers. They resonated to me thinking about it. I'm not a data guy, but you broke it down pretty good.
Definitely.
Do you think that they're not going to vote for that candidate, or they think they're just not going to vote?
I think some of them will vote, third party independent. Most will just, I think, stay home. They will just not vote at all. Say, screw this, I'm not going to waste my time because the system's illegitimate and all the different, both parties are filled with pedophiles, whatever, type of thing that an independent tends to think. These are people that listen to like Tucker Carlson and Theo Von and Joe Rogan, and they can sway. This is the type of person who might vote Donald Trump in one election and Zoran Mamdani the next. And there's more people out there like that than you think. They're not socialists necessarily, but they'll vote for whatever candidate is coming with the most hardcore stuff to upend the system that is crooked that they hate. And they might vacillate from left to right based on whoever they think will cause most destruction to this system. And there's a lot of voters like that, particularly who are millennials and Gen Z, who've gotten a raw deal. They hate the system. They know both parties suck, and they'll vote for whoever is the biggest change agent on the ballot. And if there isn't anyone like that, they'll they'll just stay home and say,
also,
don't you think it's still though Democrats versus Republicans, and if a big chunk of that demographic go to third party, then it doesn't matter, and we're still got an election between Democrats and Republicans.
Russ,
you just
the
take them.
yeah, but they don't see it that way. They see no difference.
They're
They
going
see
to be
no
frustrated
difference.
with the Democrats as much as they are with the Republicans.
They don't care. They
Russ,
see it as all the same uniparty.
The approval of both Republican Democrats worse than Republican, but it's still low. They're
Google.
both
in the shitter. They're both absolutely
they're both going downhill. They've been going downhill. The average voter, I don't care.
But
You
that
that
goes after that third party vote isn't going to matter at the end of the day, because we're still talking Democrats and Republicans.
But it's not third party. It's independents. These are people who
independent
hate both
but
parties.
The numbers,
the
yes, Russ. Yes, it matters.
They're not the type of people who are going to I'm going to sign up to become part of a third party. These are people who are just completely disaffected in the process. They hate both parties, and if they're going to show up to vote, it has to be someone who will inspire them.
Is that hate equal with both parties? If it's equal, both parties.
Independent is a catch-all term. Some people who are independents might be, they're independents because they're more communist than the Democrats are,
or they might be a more moderate Democrat.
It
goes across the whole spectrum.
It goes across the whole spectrum, but there are millions of independents who can be captured by Republicans. The sort of person
we've seen it through the populist movement with Trump or Elon and whatnot, Russ. And today we're arguing, Russ, how to get, because it's not a left-right argument. You want to make it a left-right argument. It's not. The average voter.
No, you're not hearing me out.
No, listen. The average Republican in Branch County told me before Trump got shot that they're not going to come vote. They're not going to get out and vote.
I have relatives in Branch County. They're kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
But Duggan is very dangerous because, as we know, Duggan is basically a Democrat. He's less hardcore of a Democrat than a Benson, but he's a Democrat. But he's going to be tapping into that independent branding, and he's going to be very, very strong on the ballot in November. I think he definitely.
I mean, he's not that far behind in the polling. I mean, he's just behind Benson,
and he hasn't done his big blitz yet.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, yeah, there's we're going to see more coming out of those campaigns. But Russ, it absolutely does matter. The left-right argument isn't going to hold weight when you and I are tomorrow going to go, man, how are we going to get our Republican voters to get out and vote? Like, Russ, we have a big problem here. We have a system that hasn't been maintained for 50 plus years.
I don't think you're understanding the question I was trying to be. Okay. It comes down to, at the end of the day, either a Democrat or a Republican's going to win. Yes, we can throw in this Duggan problem.
Yeah,
okay? But for the most part, that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And if they're disenfranchised with both parties, that demographic, okay, it still comes down to Democrats and Republicans. All right. So, yes, this big majority of them went over and voted independent. Okay. We're still fighting over the same group of people. The numbers,
the numbers are so margin. We have to tap into that bigger group.
So the fight will be, can the Republicans or the Democrats chip away at some of those disenfranchised voters or those independent voters?
That's what it comes down to everywhere. Yes. And the Democrats have, again, like the Democrats are in the toilet.
Does it help Does it help if Shane's chipping away at half that percent?
Getting them to vote for Republicans?
Yeah.
I would say that
you don't want them to vote for Mike Rogers. Aren't you part of that problem?
I would say that with what Grand New Party's doing, reaching out to people who are, Maha oriented.
Yeah.
We're reaching out. We're doing direct activism to the independents to get them involved and get them to support, at the very least, good candidates who are on the ballot, get them to run in local government. So we're trying to bring in more independents. I don't see any other entity or organization that's doing anything to outreach to those independents other than to turn them off, other than us. There might be a handful of other groups, Michigan for Vaccine Choice, groups like that, but they're more independent, nonpartisan.
Where do you think that Turning Point group of voters is going to go?
The Turning Point group is more of just like I would say, that's more of a Republican group.
Sure it is. Now
that's not necessarily
a pretty significant demographic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're effective at organizing young Republicans, and they can find people on campuses who have those sort of beliefs. But I don't see their message as one that's going to really sway independents. Trump swayed independents.
Yeah, but it would keep some of that demographic from going to the independent side.
But there's not an independent side. It's people who hate the system.
I get it.
And are just kind of blown in the wind depending on whatever person
Russ,
they feel like is most anti-system, they will support. If those people are not on the ballot, they will stay home.
If you and I walked in your neighborhood, Russ, and knocked doors, you'd be surprised to find out that the average person doesn't know the difference between Republican and Democrat.
Mm-hmm. So probably not my neighborhood, but they don't know what a true Republican is or a true Democrat is.
So this
because I reference my Republican voter neighbors all the time.
We talked about,
and you know who they're going to say? John James, Mike Rogers,
school of thought, win at all costs.
Russ Jennings for trustee.
Listen, number one, win at all costs, Russ, that's you.
Yeah.
Beat Democrats first. Candidate quality behavior process comes second.
Did you write notes, John?
Well, this is from my last podcast. Loyalty to the ticket becomes the highest virtue.
Yeah.
So loyalty to the ticket becomes the highest virtue in our party. Assumption, win first and then fix it later.
Yeah.
Okay, the reality check of that is once someone wins, the party has almost no leverage on that person. And then incumbents are extremely hard to defeat. Accountability only exists before the election. After the politician wins, the party has no leverage. So with Shane and I, we have a second school of thought. I don't think either one's wrong at the end of the day, but win with standards and structure. Winning matters. It does, clearly. How we win matters. Standards and processes must exist before the nominations and fix the party before the election, not after. And we're going to have to do it eventually.
Are you saying it's impossible to adjust or fix a politician once they're elected?
It's not impossible, but it's not
because
probable.
It feels like to a certain degree I've been able to do that.
I've seen one.
I've been able to influence some county commissioners to a certain degree.
But the higher state rep, the higher it goes up, though, the more distant they are, the harder it is to reach them. So especially at the federal level, it's very difficult.
Right, Wahlberg, right? Like, not to say that I'm just saying
Wahlberg's come around a bit for whatever reason, but I don't know if it was my influence at all.
But I mean, like across the state, there's 13 of those Congress people. How difficult it is to adjust your congressman?
It seems difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like try a U.S. Senate seat. Good luck.
I've never personally known a U.S. senator, so Mike Rogers wins. I can say I've met the guy and talked to him on a one-on-one. I don't know how much influence that'll ever be.
So all we're saying is we want the reform or maintenance to our system.
Is it? My question is, do you feel that way because you've been kicked in the teeth so many times that you don't feel like the level that you've both been in within Republican politics, that you never thought that you've been an influence at all, that you had to go to the extreme?
Let me kick you off your horse. Grassroots didn't lose.
Mm-hmm.
Establishment lost.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Who lost?
Say it.
They lost, didn't they?
Lost. Okay.
They lost. Who ultimately lost, Ross?
I think we did ultimately.
Michigan.
Michigan. 22.
Kevin lost.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So let me kick you off that horse.
You're right.
Maybe your school of thought needs to be reformed.
I think our grassroots movement, our success of our grassroots movement out of 2020 into 22.
What did you expect, Russ?
You got to be careful what you ask for.
You're absolutely, Russ. And guess where the establishment went? They went into hiding. Those fucking assholes didn't back us up. Look what they did to Dixon. Oh, yeah, we'll support you, and then pull the rug out underneath her. As we could have picked a better candidate.
Also,
thanks, guys.
Also, you got to remember that, Christina Caramo didn't just arrive in a vacuum. She went up there because, you look at, people like Shirky, people like Chatfield, many Republicans throughout the country.
Whitworth.
They looked the other way when the election fraud 2020 happened. They left us all basically to rot.
Look how tainted Upton, Meyer, look how tainted they are. Look at that, Russ. I mean, it's unbelievable how tainted they are. And then you got a system of people that want perceived power at state committee to go ahead and do this all over again.
We don't want to risk
good grief
the losses again. The losses of 22, especially. It was so brutal, a trifecta of Democrats, that we need to figure out how to at least come in the middle.
It's called reform. We should have did it last year.
But who were the rhinos?
We should have done it last year. Here we are in 26. We're coming up on election. I don't see no freaking reform. So what are we going to do? Let the Democrats win?
If we lose, it's not going to be grassroots' fault again.
Who were the rhinos, though, in 2022? Who were the worst rhinos It was people like the Republicans for Whitmer, Bill Parfett, and others,
and they're still around.
Who were
Snyder.
literally, Snyder, people who were literally Snyder was Republican for Biden. So really, literally, these people were campaigning out on the campaign trail, working for Democrats to win. And then what do? We roll out the red carpet for them because they have money. What about, chiding people like that who literally backstab the party during crucial elections? They're given a pass. But if you're grassroots and you put up someone like Christina Caramo because you're mad as hell at all the betrayals, you're going to wear that. They want you to wear that stain forever. And now we have to support the rhinos again because, we might get another Christina.
And to be fair, Russ, Shane and I didn't even pick the people like Caramo. It's just, like he said, it didn't come in a vacuum. There's a reason why she got picked.
Which was a bad pick. We probably would not have won the state house if we would have kept her around. It's our first time
having a non-millionaire, non-billionaire in that seat.
I get it.
As far as I know.
I live
right. Obviously, we're going to stumble on the first try out.
Is Jim Rumstead a multimillionaire or billionaire?
Nope, second one, right?
I don't think he is.
Yeah, is he
Jim?
I don't even think Hoekstra was.
Hoekstra had the connections, and Hoekstra, when Hoekstra was put in there, you had a chance for.
It's easy to be a millionaire. You got to say multi.
You had a chance for that crew to do serious delegate outreach and reform the party, and be able to bring in some money, but also bring in accountability reforms. They did the opposite. They were literally running Mike Rogers' campaign out of MRP headquarters while Pete Hoekstra was the chair. So talk about a conflict of interest. Talk about spitting in the face of a supposed process that was supposed to be.
Where did they put any more effort into Mike Rogers than any other campaign? I didn't really see MRP significantly anywhere in any campaign. So explain to me where you think MRP put more into Mike Rogers than any other campaign.
I mean, they were literally running it out of their building. They were running the campaign out of their building. It was the MRP and the Mike Rogers.
I don't think anything was running out of that building.
Was one and the same. No, it was literally the Mike Rogers campaign. This is a fact. Yeah. Was literally run out of MRP headquarters.
Okay. Yeah, you walk up in there, you see Susan Avery, and then you see Mike Rogers' team.
Yeah, so we did in Jackson to a small degree. We had a representative in and out of here all day, and 200-yard signs, and we allowed them to do whatever it would be. But we would have done that to any nominee.
Yeah, and he lost.
He was the nominee. Did he do that?
But no, it was in the primary. In the primary system throughout. Mike Rogers' campaign was run out of Hoekstra's office during the primary. So they were tipping the scale openly, spitting in our faces, and that's corruption. And that is exactly the opposite of what we were promised when Hoekstra was put in there.
I don't know if that existed.
It was absolutely
we got E22.
I was up there last summer for a press release during the campaign, or summer before for a press release. And I didn't see anybody running anything out of the damn office.
You tell you what, Russ.
It stunk like mold.
So someone like Shane or myself will have to take heat for 22 as if we have the authority. But okay, we'll take the heat. But then you're going to have to take the heat for 2020, brother, because that's the establishment lost. And and then look at 24 and 26.
Why do I have to take the heat for 2020?
What's that?
Why would I have to take the heat for 2020?
Well, why do I have to take the heat for 2020?
Because you're a boomer.
I'm not putting the heat on you.
You're a boomer. You're responsible for it all. You're a boomer.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
The next question I would be, and I said this after Rogers lost the last cycle, okay? And I guess there was somebody out there, there was some blame. And I'm like, how's not to take anything from you, Shane?
Not to take my rightful blame away.
How significant is Shane Trejo in the Grand New Party in the scheme of Rogers losing first time?
At all.
Right.
It's utterly ridiculous.
How many people
need a fall guy? They need a scapegoat.
How many people were watching Rescue Michigan or Stick the Plan podcast?
Maybe a few thousand.
It's party insiders too, and
you mean they were listening to you,
and probably most of them ended up just voting straight ticket Republican anyway.
Like you said,
like myself, allegedly.
You're
myself.
done with that, huh?
So ultimately,
we'll see. I can be won over.
So the thing is,
where's my ticket to Yob Epstein Island? That's what I'm wondering.
I heard they're turning into a resort. It'll probably be a sweet resort.
I do enjoy the nice dinners they provide at Christmas and stuff.
Russ,
okay,
we want the same. We want the same respect that we would like to give to them, and that's what it is. So like when we took over in Hillsdale, We didn't like prevent Brent or Shirky for that matter, or Andrew Fink.
You gave them a path back in.
I want them all there. Participate. What it is they don't want to work with us, Russ.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't want to work with them. They don't want to work with us, and that becomes sort of the problem.
And if you don't put in their handpicked candidate, they will rug pull you. And Christina got rug pulled. Obviously, Christina did say in the lead up that she didn't want the money. So, but even if this has happened in many other states where the grassroots puts up their person, and some of them haven't been as combative as Christina were to the money, and they still got rug pulled. They still got sabotage because the establishment wants their handpicked guy in there who will take orders and obey, keep the money flowing. And if any sort of wrench is thrown into that agenda, they will kick and scream. Unity is a one-way street. You will obey and support their candidate, but if they don't win, then they will rug pull you, and it is completely unfair.
Isn't there a grassroots person anywhere out there that has a significant amount of money? How's come it's always
Ralph Freebrand.
Okay. Well,
he's got more money than Tom Leonard, your guy.
Okay, I know in the campaign. I'm talking, you talk about the donor class.
I know in Texas there are anti-establishment donors who have billions, and they can get some of their guys elected. They're probably going to get Ken Paxton into the Senate, but still, even with those billionaires behind the grassroots there, it's still an uphill battle.
So the reform system that we're talking about, Russ, takes away a lot of that money from individual candidacies. So
you're part of, I have an element here in the Jackson GOP that hate money in politics. I don't have the solution how to remove it from politics. It's here. It's probably here to stay. So why doesn't some of the grassroots that thinks that Senate races, U.S. Senate races, should only take $50K or $100K or whatever? It's not going to happen.
As far as the U.S. Senate.
So find your guy that has some money and find some money behind him and put your own guy up.
When I win Powerball and
some
I'm
of the
able to fund these guys,
money.
I'll do it.
Maybe if the grassroots got along and pooled their money.
We keep referring back to Mike Rogers, and we probably shouldn't. But think about a
John James. I don't know.
Let's think about a county commissioner seat.
Right.
Well,
we've got county commissioner seats.
We could take money out of that game. How about a state rep seat? We could take money out of that game by controlling our brand.
And the Democrats then will win if we take the money out of Kathy Schmaltz's state house race.
Yeah, cities make up 20.
We're counting on it.
Cities make up 20% of the county parties.
Okay.
80% of our county parties have primary problems, Russ.
You're right.
And you guys lose
the biggest majority
just because Kathy won is not a reflection across the state. You're losing your ass in Oakland County. You're losing your ass in Wayne County. You're losing your ass in Washtenaw County. Right. You're losing your ass in Genesee County. And you MFers are trying to run the party like you guys are running this shit.
The bottom line is there's no easy fix to this. This has been
decades. We're not going to solve it today.
Decades of this is going to be decades of this has been decades of the system just being constantly degraded and institutional rot and corruption, and there's no flipping a switch and changing it.
Well, Shane, we've gone 50 plus years this way, right, Russ? This is all I'm saying. We've gone 50 plus years. The system gets learned. It gets gamed. Money, obviously, we already discussed this. Why can't we have an honest conversation about what reform looks like? Why, Russ?
Afraid of loss.
Russ, I just want to discuss
it. Because the system that we're playing in that changes on its own naturally, we have had some success over the last 50 years. Probably almost the same as the Democrats. We've gone back and forth. We've gone back and forth with governors. We've gone back and forth with Senate, state Senate, House.
Giving us the illusion
for 32
of change.
years. For 32 years, we have lost to Democrat has been our U.S. Senate representative. And now there's an opportunity to take that and we're like, okay, let's use the playbook that we've used in the past. And I can't, I say, let's do that. I don't want to take the risk of changing the playbook when the playbook has worked for us sometimes.
So you're talking about
pulling the plug.
Keep running the ball. No, don't. The forward pass is, off the table. Running has worked for 60 years.
How many rushing yards do I got on this?
Keep running.
Russ, I'm not even arguing with you.
Right.
What I'm saying is
I'm afraid to pull the plug. I'm afraid to change the system.
How about this? How about Jim assigns a committee, a think tank, which every government agency has, every corporation
Jim
has.
ain't assigning anything.
Let's assign a think tank and start having these open discussions as it has credibility to talk about maybe some sort of reform, particularly for rural Michigan. It could be a hybrid system. It doesn't have to be all.
Can we do that next year?
We could do it right now, Ross.
No, not right now.
Why?
Because I don't want to change the system.
We don't have to change.
We have a
discussion
that has worked in the past.
It's a discussion, Russ.
You need to start the discussion now if you want to change it for.
I get it. All right.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Get a think tank together. Put 12 of the smartest people in the party together. The 12 biggest nerds.
Who's going to determine who those 12 smart people are? Because there's 200 of them that think they're all smart.
Russ,
but
I would say you pick the dumbest people.
I'd say let's start with Scott Ogney. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, put him in charge of the whole committee.
Yes,
Russ, we gotta have discussions, man.
I'm not. That's why we're here today. I answered your question of why I don't want to. We can start the discussion, but fear. Why I don't want to change?
You said
fear.
I'm
a fear.
So you're acting emotionally, not rationally.
Because I'm looking at what's worked.
You're acting
previously.
You're acting like.
You guys think we've lost every election in the last 50 years, John?
You're acting like a liberal female.
When we win, I mean, besides Trump, when have we won? What has it mattered? It's mattered very little bit. It's all.
If Mike Shirkey would have been our governor instead of Gretchen Whitmer, he probably would have handled COVID just a little bit different than Gretchen Whitmer.
Would have he though? Would have he?
I think a little bit.
A lot of Republicans, they all went. Trump was pushing the lockdowns. A lot of Republicans were. The problem is it's a uniparty, and regardless of who wins, it doesn't matter. And independents know that.
I
think it's
Gen Z knows that. Millennials know that, and they're sick of it. And they're sick of the bullshit dichotomy. And what do you see with the Republican Party in the state of Michigan? You see them getting more and more insular. Oh, we're the real Republican. You're not a real Republican. Oh, we're not going to invite you to our little parties where everyone is the average age of 75. It's like, okay, well, that might hurt my little feelings. I feel so broken up about it. But independents don't give a damn about that. They'll say, we don't want anything to do with your little club. We'll vote or will not vote based on the candidate quality of the ones that you put up. And if you put up candidates like John James and Mike Rogers, you're not going to win. Then you can blame me, blame John Smith, blame whoever, blame Tucker Carlson. But the bottom line is if you don't put up candidates who are anti-establishment and will earn the vote of the independents, you will lose over and over and over again. And then who will you be handing the country to? The likes of Zoran Mamdani and Ilhan Omar.
Why don't the grassroots or those types of voters out there put their money where their mouth is and create their own candidates? My point here is there's grassroots people out there that have money, but no one comes up off it. They could create their own political donor class, and they don't.
Russ, the grassroots are the people making the food, like Judy.
Okay, and at what point, all of a sudden, I inherit $3 million? All of a sudden, I'm not grassroots, or it's Joe Schmo?
No, what I'm saying, 90% of your party is Judy.
When do you become not grassroots?
That's not the argument, Russ. I'm not saying grassroots are insider establishment 10 people. I'm talking about most of our party are Judy's. And to shit on Judy is blasphemy.
Oh, you're going to throw that out about Judy. Of course it is. But shit on Judy.
I got Penny Wingate.
But you know who Judy's going to do?
What do you got in Oakland County?
Who's
the lady that cooks the food at every event?
Judy's going to support the nominee, John.
Karen McAllister is a great example.
Judy's going to support the nominee. You know why? Because she's a Republican, an active Republican, and that is our job to support the nominee.
Win at all costs.
But I thought of something. You're not a precinct delegate, right? Nope. I want to explain something.
But I moved. They're never taking it away from me.
Okay. My voting
Bastards.
Republican neighbors, they have the free will to do whatever they want. Jump tracks, do whatever they want. But I feel if you're going to be an active Republican, you decided you're going to join this club. I know no one likes to hear the word club, but it's a club. I don't care.
Social club, it is.
Right. Join this club. Fight like hell in the primaries for your candidate. Suck it up and support the nominee. Okay? You're no different than my voting Republican neighbors.
Correct.
Okay? Here's Shane over here. He's a precinct delegate. Why are you a Republican? Why do you claim? Why are you a precinct delegate?
I'll sign on the dotted line. Put anything in front of me, I'll sign it. And then when I go and vote in the general or the primary, I can still vote for whoever I want.
Well,
even
that's
if
true.
I sign Chris Long, put the form in front of me, I'll sign it. and then I can go still vote for whoever the hell I want.
But that doesn't make your word very good now, does it, Shane?
Oh, I like I've said, I'm voting straight ticket. That's my story, and I'm saying, you ever seen the John Lovitz on Saturday Night Live?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I'm voting straight ticket. Yeah.
So how about this? Now that I'm not a delegate because I moved, I could go as a hardworking Republican to a convention.
You're a nomad.
But the thing is now I'm an independent voter, right?
You're like who I love. You're like my voting Republican neighbors.
Yeah. Well, I vote Republican.
You know who my voting Republican neighbors are going to vote for? John James and Mike Rogers.
Yeah, I'm going to be forced to as well. Reluctantly.
And then in the general, one question that I've had for Mike Rogers supporters I haven't had answered, besides please defend his record. Other than that, is how is he going to do better this cycle without Trump on the ballot than he did last cycle when he had Trump on the ballot? Doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I can talk to you about this. The last time you were on my show, I took a lot of heat from the Rogers campaign.
Course,
you know that. That's why you haven't been back.
Yeah, I've been blacklisted.
But Mike Rogers, when he was considering or he had decided that he's going to run again, he was making phone calls to county and district chairs, and my phone rings. It's a number I don't know, and it was Mike Rogers. Hey, it's Mike Rogers, and I'm going to run again. And my first response was, my God, you just lost. Why would you want to do this again? Okay, but then he breaks down the numbers of the percentage he lost, and I don't remember what that is, but it made sense to me. I'm like, boy, we're pretty close. Like Brian Nichtowski.
Yeah.
Oh, you're pretty darn close. Okay, and then the heat that I caught with you on the show, Shane, I told him, I said, here it is. I was holding out for Lindsay. I'm in the 5th district. You know, all of us and a lot of people around the state have a lot of love for Lindsay. And there's a reason why. He's a great candidate for any damn thing.
Yeah. Have him run for governor.
But I said, okay, I'm going to hold out for Lindsay, guys. But if Lindsay backs out, okay, Mike Rogers, you're all it. So I'm all in. And then I'm going to do what it takes to get him elected. That to me, that's my job to do since Lindsay's out. But I was honest about that. My favorite candidate was Lindsay. Was it Huizenga? No, it was Lindsay. And now and they did, of course, the Rogers campaign, like any campaign did, flexed their muscle and ended up with the Trump endorsement. To me, I say support the Trump agenda. And here we are today.
So basically the argument is that because he lost by a narrow margin last time, he'll do better without Trump on the ballot this time.
I do worry about it, but
yeah, it's very worrisome.
Hey, Kevin, you're an outsider. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I honestly don't know. I don't know enough about about Mike Rogers as a candidate, to be honest with you.
Don't worry, I'll make sure you're well informed.
I'm sure I will be well informed by the end of it. Real quick, John wanted me to pull this up. When you're talking about Shirky and
that might have been it.
Yeah,
there you go.
That might have been it.
Bingo.
Hey, by the way,
Bingo.
Russ, I in the beginning told you that your school of thought wasn't wrong.
I know,
right? Why can't you say the same?
Oh, I can say the same.
That we're not wrong.
I appreciate.
Can you say it? Say it, John. You're not wrong.
I think your point of view is wrong.
See what I mean? And this is where the rub is at for someone like Shane and I. We're willing to work with you.
Are you really?
Yeah,
I think you are more than Shane is.
We're going to vote straight ticket.
Both are more than I am.
You said that on the show.
That's the ticket. That's the ticket.
That's the ticket.
So the thing is this, and I'll go into this.
Okay, we're in the primary season, so let it swing, right? Is that where you guys are at, or did we just settle this on the Stick to the Plan podcast?
No, we didn't settle this because
that Shane Trejo is going to support the nominee.
I mean, I've said that over and over again, and I did vote straight ticket last time. Have in the past.
Don't give it to him, Shane.
I think he already gave it to us.
I anticipate.
All right.
I anticipate.
Good night, everybody.
I anticipate that in November I'll vote straight ticket again. But the point is that independents aren't going to, because they don't see the merits in supporting the douche over the turd sandwich.
Other
They've been
than the
burned
governor's campaign,
over and
I don't
over again.
think it matters if we lose the independents, because it's just as frustrated with the Democrats as they are Republicans. It's going to be between the Democrats and Republicans, so we're still after the same group of people.
But
yes, this percentage went over here. They're going to vote independent or third party. It doesn't matter. It's whoever can
the Republicans
reach those
Republicans are
Republican voters.
The Republicans are handicapped though because
we could do better, Russ.
We could do better, but they're handicapped because they're in position of power right now.
Yeah,
so it's easy to demonize them. Well, the inflation, the jobs, the immigration battles in the street, this is all stuff that can be used to demonize and tarnish Republicans, because whether you like it or not, they're the ones in power. The buck stops with them, and that's why it always boomerangs around after a president wins, because there's discontentment, because no president can really come in and fulfill all their different promises, even if they do everything that's right. And then it boomerangs back around against the
Russ
party that's in power, and that's what will probably happen, or historically has happened in these midterms.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Russ, people like Chris Long, vice chair grassroots of MIGOP,
very wise man. Very, very humble gentleman.
He's in the chat, by the way.
Chris
wise.
Chris regularly.
He is not humble.
He regularly mocks delegates in grassroots, and he connects party failure to grassroots culture. So failure.
Our feelings are hurt.
Very flamboyantly so.
Hear me out. So the failure is on grassroots culture, but we failed 2 years prior hand when we had establishment control. So, but okay. Grassroots and delegates do not control candidate recruitment. Typically, they don't control the money. They don't control the consultants. They don't control the messaging. They don't control the statewide strategy, and they don't control the ballot access.
Do they even try?
Hear me out. Grassroots is labor, not control. Responsibility must follow the authority. You cannot blame people who did not control the decisions. So we do agree ego and influence peddling hurts the party. We disagree on who had the power to cause it. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm not saying Chris is actually wrong on the things he says, or you, Russ, for that matter, but you guys will never give us, well, maybe you're right. Maybe we do need some reform.
And one of the things
I'll give you more grace, definitely more than Chris Long will.
Well, one of the things that Chris said, though, is, and
I think I'm a little more humble.
He'll make good points against the influence of big money in the party and the Republicans who care more about maximizing their corporate profits than putting America first. That's one of his bugaboos that he will rant about all the time. But then he'll say, we're going to shovel the establishment candidate right down your throat. He doesn't see the connection between the establishment candidate who serves the big money and the agenda of the big money. He doesn't seem to put it all together. Well, how so?
What do you think, Kevin?
We're not the one in fear.
I'm just reading through the chat. I happen to notice Chris Long was in the chat, but I don't see his comment anymore.
We're not operating out of fear like you, Russ.
But
Russ, if you say the wrong word about Chris Long, they're going to take you in that back room and they're going to, they're going to do something to your brain.
Early on your fear of reform.
They're going to put you in that Clockwork Orange machine and they're going to re-educate you.
Any other chats?
Yeah, there's actually Mark Ashley Price from Highland Park, Wayne County.
Mark, I like Mark.
He said, greetings. He says, I heard that the Republican Party State Committee would have a meeting on Saturday. I might be a proxy for that meeting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hillsdale's going to be brought up again. I'm like, good grief, guys. Let's drop it.
He also says he likes the podcast and to keep it up. And then
I think that's the first Mark's been on our show.
He says, I pray to God or pray to the Lord that
he was on the Livingston County one. He's a frequent flyer to Rescue Michigan.
Wow. Mark is, I believe I signed Mark up initially as a delegate at a Liberty meeting back in, I want to say 2014 or 2016. So he's stood the test of time, and you're a good man, Mark, and go Trump.
Yeah. Then the only other thing was Amber Harris on here giving us laughy faces and oh gosh, guys. that's pretty much all. And on the Rumble side, it was just good internet friend Carrie. She was in here just talking about how.
She agrees with
Shane and John. She basically agrees.
What do you know?
Hell yeah.
She had some internet issues she had to take off, but she's I don't know. She's like, I don't know who to blame.
What's the last name on that, Carrie?
I don't know, Carrie C.
Yeah,
here's who to blame: the uniparty,
not
the
anyone I know personally,
the big money that lords over the party. They're the ones who've messed all this up. The grassroots became angry and disaffected because they got screwed over by these people over and over and over again. And the
turn off mic number 4.
And the answer isn't to be a mob wife, to be a mob wife to the establishment. The answer is to support better candidates. And if the Republicans don't put up good candidates, they will lose, especially in Michigan. It's a purple state. The margins are slim. They need independence. Put up better candidates or lose. That's what will happen in November. And unfortunately, I think we're headed in that losing direction.
I hate that negative tone. I'm more of an optimist. And in the beginning of this show, there's
I'm a negative Nancy.
Where there's a clip where I say, I think the political climate in 2027 is going to be much favorable for Republicans. In 27, after we win in 26, when we go into 27. Okay. And I mean that because I'm an optimist. And I think Republicans are going to win across the board.
That's great to be optimistic.
I can't walk through my life pissed off and have my feelings hurt. What Chris Long said. Come on, Shane. Really?
I don't have my feelings hurt about Chris. I don't look. I didn't know
Chris annoys me, but I don't say rarely is he wrong.
I didn't know Chris from anyone. I know he beat Marion Sheridan at convention, selling delegates a bill of lies. I guarantee you that, if delegates could go back and redo that vote, Marion would have won. If you talk about delegates making the wrong decision at convention, that's got to be at the top of the list with a bullet, the very tip top of that list. I talked to Chris. I talked to Chris and said, hey, I'd be happy to work with you. Then somehow, something flipped in his head and he started going on the attack against the grassroots. I don't think that's the right move for a grassroots vice chair is to attack the grassroots and attack the delegates.
I don't think it's as much of attack the grassroots, exposing reality to the grassroots. I do with the so-called grassroots in the Jackson GOP all the time. They do not know political reality. They do not.
They know it. They hate it because they hate it.
So why are you here? This is a political organization. You can't take politics out of a political organization.
Russ, you have to allow dissent.
We
don't need bosses. We need leaders. You got to allow dissent.
And maybe that's where Chris isn't allowing dissent. He gets as offended as Shane does here. Okay, Chris gets way offended.
Yeah,
if I would have seen you in Kent County the other day, and I was Chris, I would have just to be more one, I'm a friendly guy, and to kind of be an asshole, I'd have been up to say, "Hey, John, how you doing?"
Again, I don't have any personal beef with Chris. I just disagree with his politics. That's all. And
you did threaten to beat him up.
Well, I mean, fundamentally,
he also called him certain choice words.
Listen,
we're on Rumble.
Not talk like
we
that
on
the
YouTube. Never mind.
Podcast.
Shut up, Russ.
I'll say you can say it on Rumble, but we're also on YouTube. So,
but no, Russ. At the end of the day,
you threatened to beat me up before too, John.
Right.
So
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I get it.
At the very caveman level thing, that's what it comes down to, right? Let's just be honest. Fine, we'll just.
Are these bumps going to smooth out in the general? Do you think? Yes, there's going to be some dissent. Shane's going to be.
We will always still be here.
Do you think this is the growing pains of every primary? Because primaries are a bitch. They are a bitch.
Yes and no. We have underlying problems, and if we don't start getting some discussion going, see, that's the problem with state committee is they don't actually want even to get these discussions going, and that's sort of the problem I think with state committee is, and
genuflect beneath the establishment candidates and the money and the status quo, and then we'll have our little. And we don't want to recruit delegates anymore. Don't keep the delegates out. We need to contract the delegates so that we can control them and we can have our, different district and county meetings and we can control them and stay in power. That's what it's become. And these people were the opposite of that when they got in there and they flipped. And they changed.
And that's why Shane
I didn't change. They changed.
That's why Shane
Sorry
and I
you changed.
are frustrated is because we see our friends
quit the Grand New Party. I can't do it
High
anymore.
And dry.
I can't do it anymore, Shane.
High and dry.
Our friends they came up in a grassroots style, but now they've resorted going back to the old school way of thinking.
But only worse somehow.
Yeah. They're more tyrants.
I think that's because of mostly 22. We did all these county takeovers, district takeovers, all this stuff, and then got kicked in the teeth in 22. And we're like, we can't go back to that way.
Yeah, where nobody's suggesting
we got kicked in the teeth in 18 too with the establishment. So I don't get. I think it's just an excuse.
We got the election stolen in 2020.
Yeah, it's an excuse. It's an excuse because the people in these positions, they like their positions. They're in. They consider themselves the establishment,
power,
and they don't want the outsiders coming back and holding them accountable. And it's the same as it's always been. It's just Karamo is used as the excuse for these people to do their power grab.
Russ, you know as well as I do, this is a small club. Nobody outside the club knows who the hell we are.
Chris Long talks about that's 1% of the voting population.
Small, he's right.
Really, what are we getting at here?
So it's perceived power within this little structure that we have here. I've witnessed it. I witnessed my friend, grassroots, come up, become a district chair, for her to yell at delegates in the convention in Flint where it's like a bowl, and people are standing up in their chairs, and she's screaming at the alternates to sit down. Russ, who the hell are you? Like, who the hell is that? Like, why in the hell would you yell at delegates to sit down?
They elected that person. Somebody did.
So, like, what I'm saying is,
whoopsies.
I get it.
Who gave you the authority? Like, first off, you put your pants on one leg at a time too, dog. Like,
you're saying after the election that person changed enough to yell at delegates to
power, but not even power, but the little tiniest sliver of perceived fake authority goes to people's heads and changes them. It's crazy.
Power is the biggest aphrodisiac. I'm guilty of it. I know you are, Russ. We all are. So, like, power is so appealing.
I prefer rhino horn, but
the
power second.
The minute as somebody in so-called power says, hey, you're looking at this wrong. That's not how we win elections. It's unrealistic. And I'm not saying what we're talking about here today,
right? But
a lot of new people come in saying, this is what we should do. Well, we're going to lose then.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're labeled as that person that's a tyrant and the power went to your head because you're breaking down my 10 years of experience of being in and out in elections.
You're absolutely right. I mean, grassroots is loud and boisterous and can be attacked. They have their problems too. Nobody's saying that they don't.
It's one thing if you're a leader and you're like, hey, grassroots guy, this is impractical. We can't do this for X, Y, and Z reason. And then that person will invariably say you're a rhino, screw you in certain situations. But, there are, as a leader, you can't do everything that the grassroots wants to do in that way 1,000,000%. But at the same time, it's flipped so much now to where they want to suppress the grassroots 100% of the time. They want to ban, the grassroots candidates from appearing at official Republican functions. They want to kick out delegates just if the leadership says, oh, they're a troublemaker, you're kicked out for any reason. This is all stuff that's coming down the pike from different areas throughout the state. And it's in a coordinated fashion from this clique of people who think they're the establishment.
What other counties than two that come to mind have kicked out delegates?
I know Kalamazoo has.
That's other than two.
But there's a push for this to become the norm throughout the state.
Take a poll, Russ. I mean, that's this isn't Shane and I. It's just saying this. We hear from individual people from here on. Throughout. I travel the state, Russ, on a campaign, and I hear it every day. There's problems everywhere. The thing is I'm not saying the system I'm suggesting is going to fix all our problems. What I'm saying is maybe we've gone 50 plus years down a system that needs to be reformed, maintained. We move goalposts every
you don't think they move naturally on their own? You don't think the party
they move, but I don't think things are adjusted because like you said, well, we go to the old playbook because it worked before, but it didn't work in 2020. It didn't work in.
It's always a back and forth.
But it wouldn't have to be as much of
the system.
It wouldn't have to be as much of a back and forth if system was changed when the goalposts changed.
Do we all agree that we are in a purple state and that it's going to go back and forth, or do you think we're in a red state and we're just missed opportunities?
No, I think we're on the cusp of losing the state altogether. I think
it'll be blue forever.
We're on the cusp of the state becoming solidly blue. And if we don't put up strong candidates,
I think if we lose this cycle,
it could be really bad for quite a long time.
Well, and we've already got 10 years of fixing to do. If we lose this cycle, then we've got 10 more years of. I
don't know. the thing is that doesn't mean we don't maintain. You maintain you do oil change in your car all the time. Why? I mean, because it's going to break down eventually.
I do.
You know? Yeah. So I mean, you rotate the tires for some damn reason. The thing is we got to maintain the party with some maintenance. That's all. That's all I'm suggesting.
I think more of that happens than what you think on it naturally. You want to take it. You think it needs serious reform. I think it needs reform, but I think that happens. We're not stupid. We see the political landscape, and so
there's nothing that's been reformed in 6 years.
It's going in the wrong direction.
And the reason I disagree with that, Pops, is because
I'm not saying a discussion.
The reason why establishment exists is because things doesn't change.
Yeah, what it is
if we really think about it,
listen to Sonny Boy over here.
The designation of establishment alone tells me
everybody.
that things aren't changing. I was saying we ain't going nowhere because I figured I'd pull this one up. It was over in the Facebook chat. Chris came back. He says that's a lie, Shane. Show me the post. Show me the post. Show me where the post where I am pushing establishment candidates, and show me the post attacking the grassroots. You are a liar.
He has been defensive on showing where he's endorsed or promoted.
It's a shell game. You know, I mean, everyone knows what he's getting at. I mean, give me a break. And plus, he's always said like
it's super condescending.
Yeah, he's playing some. Yeah, it's like a weasel routine.
I mean, Russ.
Don't worry, Chris. I love you, brother.
Russ. I mean, the thing is he might not have called out an individual person or anything like that, but he's doing it as a whole. He's applying failure to grassroots is what he's doing.
And you're
he called out Shane pretty clearly.
Not listening to the grassroots. It's like you're preparing for loss, and then you're preparing to blame someone else for that loss, like you're claiming they blame you guys for that.
I'm giving them their spoon back to them.
I got some wonderful jagged rocks that I'm going to lay out for my establishment friends. If the midterms don't go the way of the Republicans, I'm going to brace their fall with the most beautiful pointed jagged rocks for them to fall. Pride goeth before the fall, and there's a good chance we fall in November.
I just can't shit
I'll make
on
sure
the
that they're
of the parties, Russ.
Can we be a little more optimistic?
I'll give it till the primary. I think that I'll be optimistic that the Republican voting public will reject Mike Rogers, will reject John James, put up one of the better candidates who could be nominated.
What
is
the grassroots doing?
And then we will be able to turn it around for November. I am confident and optimistic that will happen.
What is the grassroots doing, the Grand New Party doing, Shane doing, or anybody doing to secure the primary to Genevieve?
I've been promoting her and trying to get the word out about her. It's a tall task.
I'm not. How about that one, Russ? Because I don't have the authority like the establishment does today.
So, I've got to know Genevieve a little bit. She's been on the show.
No, I mean, I will promote Genevieve.
David versus Goliath.
All right. Now, I do say she's
got her slingshot.
She's everywhere lately. She's working
it. She's a great individual.
I told you on the phone, Genevieve just showed up at our Christmas party. No one knew who she was.
Right.
I heard of her because she announced at the island. No one even heard that. And, of course, she connected right away to Marcy Jankovic. Queen bee of grassroots with influence of a lot of people. It's Marcy. And Genevieve, in her way, got to know quite a few people and has come back. And I was so relieved with Genevieve. So relieved. Good. Because it gave these Shane Trejo types in the Jackson GOP hope. Somebody to fight for in the primary.
Why is there such disdain?
Is there that much disdain?
Yes.
Why is
there so much disdain?
John, why is there so much disdain?
For grassroots.
There's not.
Why?
I'm glad there's somebody for them to fight like hell for your candidate.
I wouldn't say Russ Jennings, but how about
Thank
this?
God Genevieve came for some of them.
But a lot of the people at state committee, why is there so much disdain?
I'm not on state committee. I don't know. I go up there.
You're friends with a lot of those people. Why?
Your cronies. What's with your cronies?
Why is there such a disdain?
Why the disdain on state committee is on both sides. In the both sides of state committee, you know what sides I am? The pro-Karamo side to the pro-removal Karamo side.
Sure.
if you ask me from day one, the pro don't remove Karamo side is annoyed the hell out of me. It's none of it's ever made sense.
They came in with a shotgun approach. They target everybody.
And I supported. I didn't vote for Karamo,
nope,
but I supported her when she was elected.
Same.
But as evidence started coming around, and I listened to the two sides. You know how state committee is.
Yeah.
That other side to me.
Okay, so
since the first meeting I went to annoys the hell out of me.
So okay,
they talk crazy.
Russ,
but that was a long time ago.
That was 2 years ago.
It's still the same group of people.
No, it's not.
On both sides.
No, look, but look, if there's people who were pro Karamo, Karamo's not around anymore. Those people are still around, because they're
the narrative
activist
on
Republicans.
Each side is still the same. They're
activist Republicans, and they're not going anywhere. So now you're the new you feel like you're the new establishment, and you want to keep your clique together, and you want to marginalize the other faction because they're the Karamo people. They're the other.
You don't think the other side doesn't do that to my side, if that's how we want to explain this?
I'll use Lori Skibo as a good example.
Good, right?
So a year ago, I talked to Lori for the first time. Why? Right? Because here I thought maybe she was going to be indifferent with me or whatever. The fact of the matter is she wasn't. And she's actually a very reasonable person to deal with.
I get it.
So both sides.
And I feel like people on for lack of a better word, Karamo side have matured a bit and
they have got more
last state committee meeting.
They got more wise.
And a lot of you didn't know what was going on at state committee.
I will say that the argument for an hour and a half at the last state committee, it's usually strong election integrity stance against we were concerned with
machines or not machines.
And that's the biggest argument. And it's the same group that fights for and against.
Yeah.
It's been
maybe in that subject matter you might get a lot of that 50-50 fight. There's a lot of room we can work together on. And but it really does. You have to open discussion. I can't imagine the Kelly Sackett's of the world having discussions with the Joel Studebakers of the world.
I would before she would.
We need more.
You know that. I guess. I think. I don't know. But
the thing is, we need more discussions. Like even with Chris, even though I butt heads with Chris, or I call him a name, or he acts irrational or emotionally flamboyant, whatever. I'm willing to have the discussion.
But they don't want discussion because they want to ramrod their rules through. What they want to do is they want to, in Kelly Sackett's case, and others
like Matt Wilk.
They want to ramrod through their rules that will give whoever the leader is the ability to unilaterally remove delegates.
That's politics. It's a political organization.
So don't bitch when we start doing it too.
Okay, we're not bitching here.
But we don't have to do it because the grassroots has more delegates. The reason why they want to do it is because they want to get rid of these delegates so that they can keep power and then use Christina. Oh, it'll be a million Christinas unless we unilaterally take power. It's an excuse.
Are you happy
it's a
with
lie,
Lansing?
and it's bullshit, and they're losing. They're going to lose bad.
Are you truly happy with Lansing?
I am truly happy with Matt Hall.
Okay.
In the State House.
But are you truly happy with the direction of Lansing?
No.
Lansing?
We're ran by a crazy Democrat liberal governor.
Hey, one thing about Matt Hall, it's easier to act like a conservative when you're out of power than when you're in power.
That's exactly the game that's played here. Kathy Schmaltz, for example, is a lot better state representative now that she's in the majority than when she's in a minority. They have to play, if you want to say, uniparty game when you're in a minority.
Why
I wish they didn't. I wish they didn't have to.
But I mean, when they're in full power, though,
show me evidence of that.
But when they're in full, when it's a divided government, when they're in full power, when Republicans are in full power, they'll be taking orders from the special interests. It's easier to masquerade now like you're a conservative when none of your decisions matter because it's not going to be signed by the governor.
Show me
when
evidence,
they're in full
Russ,
power,
of what you
then
just
it'll be
said.
like the Snyder days again, and they're signing all kinds of
a small reduction in the state budget.
Show
your boy Matt Maddock.
0.0. Wait. The $81 billion conservative budget. Oh my God.
Mr. Ultra Conservative Matt Maddock. All of a sudden, what? He isn't a cool guy in your guys' eyes anymore.
He voted for that tax hike, the cannabis tax hike. So.
Russ, show me an example of someone that votes more conservative somehow didn't win their seat.
Jim DeSantis is a perfect example of
the reverse argument of
reverse argument
what
you just said.
Yes.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, I think it's kind of bullshit.
But I think each district has different demographics of how you can win. Jim DeSantis,
it's Taylor that's doing it.
Well, they play musical chairs where some people will take the fall for this vote, then another group of people will take the fall for the next vote. They do it in U.S. Congress.
How about just go in?
It's all rigged. It's all a uniparty. It's all a scam. And that's why independents hate it.
So
and that's how we lost our party brand.
Okay,
too,
it's very difficult, and I can only put it in perspective on the township board I'm at. Okay, I am probably, in their eyes, the most conservative person on that board. Okay, but as you're sitting there making decisions, even on a township level, small Michigan township level, you constantly keep in mind what is the conservative thought process to this decision.
Sure,
usually they're all the same. At the end of the day, you're not off. It's things are coming at you to where you can't always do that, or you wish you could have done more.
I wish Thomas Massey was on this podcast.
Well, he's got to go. He's not a real Republican.
Well, he's definitely not supporting the Trump agenda now, is he?
I could take the
but we
show.
need Congress to support the Trump agenda, but none of us at this table can support the Trump agenda.
Well, what is the Trump agenda?
Yeah, tell me what the Trump agenda
Define the Trump agenda. Uh-oh. He's like, hummina.
Don't use...
all I know is Obamas are monkeys, apparently. That's the only thing.
Don't you think that...
real quick, Slay Every Game just rated the stream, which means we'll have some more people heading on over to Raiders. Make sure you like the stream, follow the channel. We're just talking about stuff.
What do you, Kevin? You heard us rant here and argue and discuss and debate and call names. Kevin, you're not in the party.
No.
What do you think, man? You're an independent voter.
The easiest way to put it is
voting. He doesn't want to get disowned by his dad. So
no.
I'm
very open about it. Honestly, I've been trying to get disowned for a long time. But I same thing I tell my grandfather, he's very, very liberal though. And he'll
not my dad.
No. Not really my grandpa either. But anyways, he'll be like, well, blah blah blah. Well, what does Drummond have to say? And I have to remind him. I'm like, I hate both of them. I hate all of them. Honestly, it comes down to who's the less of a turd sandwich. What did you say earlier, Shane? You got to choose between the douche or the turd sandwich.
That's what it is.
And then sometimes you get the douchey turd sandwich.
You get a little bit of both.
And I think that, first of all, when it comes down to primaries, this would all be solved with, closed primaries.
I can't go there anymore.
I think it's a big thing. I think that
closed primary, yes.
Yeah, closed primary, yeah.
Closed primary,
yeah.
Yes.
I think I think it would solve a lot of these issues. Because why wouldn't we have the people who know the people?
No, that'd be caucus then.
Oh, caucus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like me and John used to talk about on this show.
Okay. Yeah, I always get
that, Russ.
Closed primary is where you just announce, "Hey, I'm a Democrat or a Republican."
Okay,
Russ, you still on the closed caucus team?
No, he's not.
I guess I am, and I mean now again, it's
the establishment got to me.
In my
Clockwork Orange machine gets.
Well, it's not a perfect system, but
in the back of my head, all I think of is why wouldn't the experts choose the people instead of just off of name recognition or off of this or that or another thing, would you,
it takes money out of the equation on some of this stuff.
The biggest thing.
Well, then that solves another issue.
I think the biggest thing you'd never let me answer about the Trump agenda is the Trump economic agenda. What happened to your girl Susan Kokinda? Do we not like Susan Kokinda anymore with Peruvian Action? And we talk about put the Trump economic agenda at the top of everybody's ticket. And
hers is one of the outside groups they want to run out of the party.
And I think maybe there's a portion of Susan.
You think Matt Hall, you think Mike Rogers or John James or Kelly Sackett or Randy Guppy or Tim Ross all like Susan Kincaid? Give me a break, Ross.
She's one of the ones that your boy Scott McMahon wants to run out of the party.
I know that. I've seen that.
So they're
outside. I don't think Scott McMahon's in the party, is he?
I think he's an elected county commissioner.
I know it put him in the party.
But in invoking names isn't. Like, I love all those people. But those people want to get Susan out of there.
Okay, because
they want to, even though Susan is probably the the number one advocate for Trump's economic agenda in the state, and her group's the number one advocate for Trump's economic agenda in the state, they still want to remove her because they see her as a threat to their cabal of power.
I don't see anybody talking about her except for McMahon. No one in my circle, in or out, is even bringing Susan up. Now, I did see Susan Kokinda at the Mike Rogers Christmas party.
Oh no, she's got to go.
Hey, Mike.
That's why I asked that.
She's got to go.
Russ.
Oh, no.
Hey, Russ.
Because they got her. They got her.
You're saying that group of people don't want you. If you were to gamble today, you would say they would keep Susan.
Silence. I don't think your silence is deafening.
I don't think they're opposed to Susan. No, they might say, okay, when you get talk about the British imperial control of our
I love that shit.
finances, which is probably true. Maybe you might lose voters if you knock on their door and start with that. But at the end of the day, if you look at Susan and what she's talking about the Trump economic agenda, I don't care what they think. I like what Susan's got to say.
What about Jim?
But no one's talking about Susan.
Do they like Jim?
Jim who?
Runstad.
Well, I guess not many do.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Why is that, Russ?
I don't know. Former chairs used to answer their phones.
Yeah.
when a county chair would call on a rare occasion. I mean, I'm getting nothing back from him.
Sure.
It is my concern, my personal concern.
Right.
He ain't doing anything for Jackson.
Just so everybody know, we're coming up on 1 hour 45 minutes.
All right,
I didn't
wrap
know.
it up.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure you have some
silencing us. We could have went 4 hours.
Oh, easily. We don't do 4 hours.
We don't have Disaronno.
Yeah, that could. Yeah,
if we were
conversation flowing.
No, I don't have any Disaronno.
I am still a Rhino establishment. I'm sorry I switched, guys. And I will be supporting Mike Rogers in the primary and in the general.
Good for you for supporting.
Well, that's a bold. That's a bold
and
stance
if Mike
to take. It took a lot of courage
wins,
to come
if
to
Mike
that decision.
Rogers wins the primary, I will support John James. I will support John James in the primary if he were to win.
If they win, I'll call you and congratulate
If Carla Wagner, who hates my guts and has admitted that she would not support the nominee for governor, if she were to win, I would support Carla Wagner in the general.
Hey, Kevin Reiki did the same thing, so it's all good.
We'll talk off air about Kevin a little bit. I don't know what's coming.
He wants some money from Kevin. He ain't talking about that one. Anyway, I would just like to say for a final thought that I will support any Republican that's on the ticket in November. I am
well. If you're
proud,
if you're voting straight ticket, then you don't really have a choice.
For every Republican, and
that sounds like a Henry Rollins. I am a liar.
My word is my bond.
You heard it here on the Stick to the Plan podcast.
Well.
Hey, for my final thought, I mean, we're doing a Jeremy final thought here. I just want to say, shout out to all the people that I named at the show today, because I actually think they're great people and I think they mean well. There's no ill intent. It's just, I think we got to start having discussions, honest discussions, not backdoor channel, stabbing in the back talks. Let's get it out in full public and let's get going in reforming our party so we can get back to winning.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, that's kind of the whole idea.
Let's win some elections.
Yeah.
Win with GPS 2026.
Primaries suck. I only have one announcement, Kevin, because you know what? Most of our GOP announcements, unless you got some final words.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Most of our GOP announcements, I think, need to go to the Under the Oaks podcast.
Yeah.
Because this is a Rustin podcast.
Yeah. The only problem is that if we have anything
that's what I want to mention. This Thursday, the 12th, is a Under the Oaks speaker series with James Dixon.
Nice.
Yes. The James Dixon podcast, you need to find it, but he don't like it if we promote this way, but you can find his work through the Michigan Enjoyer. And believe it or not, there's people within the Jackson GOP who've never heard of the Michigan Enjoyer. I'm like, y'all need to plug in a little bit here into what's going on in the world, because the Michigan Enjoyer does throw out some great content.
I think James now has his own blog that's different than the Michigan Enjoyer.
Now, I did say last week he threw out an article for the Michigan Enjoyer.
Oh, okay.
So he must still be involved. Cool. James Dixon podcast. But he'll be here. And we've had James on the podcast before.
Yes, we have.
And he is a great guest. And I'm looking forward to having him here in Jackson. So that's all. There's a lot more. county convention coming up, but if you're a precinct delegate and don't know about that,
then you got problems.
You really need to plug
Russ
in.
wants to keep you in the dark on that.
Well, yeah.
Hey,
his orders from Kelly Sackett.
I don't mess with my precinct delegate allotment. The mathematics come up, we're losing 9. Okay, just the way that mathematics.
It was the math that did it. You know,
well,
happened to lose.
By
9.
the way, Russ, they're coming. So there's going to be.
We don't feel anywhere
State
near.
committee has a meeting coming up here,
and
you know what? This particular subject of allocation is going to be coming up on a resolution.
The allegation's been settled because Stu sent out a handbook saying, "Hey, this is how you do that." So now the decision at state committee might have to change a little bit.
Well, maybe. We'll see.
My allocation is done, but has not been submitted. Of course, I have a county clerk that if I were to miss a day, John, and get it in late, she would probably accommodate.
Right.
Okay.
It's good to have those connections, isn't it?
That's right. It's great.
It doesn't hurt
to be part of the establishment. Then your county clerk doesn't screw you over.
That's the problem. When you got a runaway clerk.
I'd rather be on the inside than the outside, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
Good for you.
You used to be on the inside. They must have ran you out of there. What happened, bro?
No, what happened was
district chair.
No one was willing to be district chair except me.
Going to Perry Johnson Christmas parties and stuff.
Oh, I got the. Well, now that I'm on the bad boy list, I don't get invited to the Schmaz Fest, but I think I'll be able to manage. I think after November, things may be changing.
Since we're still friends, right?
Party.
Maybe when you get invited to that Perry
things may be changing.
That Perry Johnson event, you'll call Russ up and have me tag along because I really like shrimp cocktail and stuff like that.
I'll dull the jagged rock that you land on because of our friendship.
Part of the show was the fact that I knew we weren't going to settle anything, guys.
A lot of good discussion, though.
It was, and we are friends. We've been friends for a long time. We really are. We would continue to be friends. Shane is great to go out drinking with and having a great time with. Been there, done that. I'm not in a hurry to do it again.
Yeah,
because the next day is damaging.
The next day's
John
rough.
and I, whatever. So,
John,
thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah, guys, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you. And hey, thanks again for Slay Gaming for the raid that bumped us up our viewership quite a bit.
I'm sure
it was awesome. I'm sure they probably dipped out, but it's fine. And make sure you like the stream, follow the channel, follow the Facebook. And yeah, everything.
I'll be deleting the show.
Everything down in the description. He doesn't know how.
Make sure to clip me.
Yeah.
I told you to clip.
You told me how. Kevin doesn't understand what the hell you're talking
about. No, I understand. It's just we don't shoot that way, so it cuts it weird.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean.
Anyways, we're out of here.
See ya.
You've been listening to a Grandma's Boy Media Production.
Welcome to the Stick to the Plan podcast. Michigan's elite political podcast is about to begin, live from the birthplace of the Republican Party.